What's up, Tailgaters? My name is Tailgate Nate. Welcome back to my channel. I'm back with yet another schedule preview and record prediction video, and today we're going to be going through my second group of 5 team and my second team from the American Athletic Conference, and it's going to be the Cincinnati Bearcats. So Cincinnati, ever since they got Luke Fickell at head coach, they have always proven themselves to be a consistent top 25 team. They have been really good for the past couple of years. This year, they're getting back their quarterback, Desmond Ridder. They're also getting back their running back, Michael Warren, who possibly could be the best running back in the American Athletic. And I believe they're also going to be getting their safety, James Wiggins, back. He missed all of last season with, I believe it was a torn ACL, but had really good stats in 2018 and was a big part of that defense in 2018. So possibly could lead Cincinnati to a group of 5 title this year. So we're going to go ahead and see if Cincinnati can get into their first New Year's Six Bowl, or if Cincinnati is going to take a step back from where they have been in previous years. All right, here is the schedule for the Cincinnati Bearcats. Before we dive into that, you'll see down there their 2019 record was 11-3. So the 3 losses, one to Ohio State. They got shut out 42-0 at the Horseshoe. And then the other 2 losses were to Memphis, once in the regular season, and then the second one in the American Athletic Championship game. And then they ended up winning their bowl game. That's how they got to 11 wins. And then you'll see if their home games are going to be in red and their away games are going to be in black. So without further ado, let's go ahead and look at what Cincinnati has to deal with this year in 2020. So they start their season off, first game of the year. It's going to be against Austin, PA. It's a Thursday game, and they should easily win this one. The Bearcats will get an easy win. Then the next week, it's going to be a Friday game, and they're going to play Western Michigan. So Western Michigan was good a couple of years ago, and ever since then and ever since P.J. Fleck left, they've been down and haven't been all that great. So I give the Bearcats the easy win here as well. Then they get a road game against the Miami, Ohio Redhawks. So Miami, Ohio, a team that also played Ohio State last year. They got absolutely destroyed. I believe the final score was 76-5. Miami, Ohio scored the first 5 points, and then after that, Ohio State just blew the doors open on the Redhawks. But Miami of Ohio did go on to win the Mid-American Conference Championship game. But I have dubbed that the weakest conference in college football this year, and I don't see Miami, Ohio getting all that better. I do believe Goddard is their quarterback, and do believe he's coming back, but Cincinnati's just got way too much talent, especially on the defensive side. I like the Bearcats in this one. All right, their next game is a really interesting game for me. It is a road game. They're going to go to Lincoln to play the Nebraska Cornhuskers. And honestly, I can't wait to watch this one. This one should be so much fun to watch. Cincinnati's been a consistently good team the past couple of years, and this year Nebraska is only supposed to improve and only supposed to get better. They are returning quite a bit. Nebraska was one of the higher teams in returning production, although numbers are kind of ajarred now because Maurice Washington is not going to be there. And from the looks and sounds of it, neither is J.D. Spielman. But the Huskers are returning quarterback Adrian Martinez and a lot on the defensive side. So the Huskers overall going to improve. They have a lot of guys in recruiting that they really like that they're bringing in. This one is a 50-50 game for me. To be completely honest with you, this game could go either way for me. I could see Nebraska winning. I could see Cincinnati winning. If Cincinnati were playing this game at home, I maybe would give the edge to the Bearcats. But for right now, I could see this game going either way. Then they have a home game against University of South Florida. So the Bulls were good a couple years ago. They made the top 25 and were playing UCF for a potential American Athletic Championship bid. Of course, they lost that game, but they were fairly good. I believe it was 2017 or 2018 was the year, and they just haven't been good ever since, and not a lot of talent. Of course, Quentin Flowers is not there anymore. He has moved on to bigger and better things. So Cincinnati, to me, going to get the easy win here in this one. Then they have a bye week, and this is a fairly good place for a bye week. Maybe you'd like to have it a week later or 2 weeks later, but I mean, it's good. It's a good place for a bye week. It's before a road game, which is nice. It's before 2 straight road games, which is probably even better, but you'd probably like to have it in the middle of the 2 road games. But after their bye week, they're going to get a road game against Tulsa. So Tulsa is always a very up and down team, and they're never really all that consistent. I see Cincinnati easily beating the Hurricanes, the Golden Hurricanes, here in this one. Then it's yet another away game, and it's going to be against SMU. So SMU is a very interesting team. They are losing a lot of talent on the wide receiver position, most notably Sam Prochet. Lots of talent on the defensive position gone. I believe they are returning their quarterback in Sam Buechele. I do believe he is coming back, so maybe SMU can be decent this year, but they're definitely not going to be as good as they were last year. It could be a tricky game for Cincinnati. It's on the road. SMU still is not that bad of a football team. I'm going to go ahead and lean towards the Bearcats in this one, but I'm not going to be surprised if SMU pulls off a scare and ends up beating the Bearcats in Cincinnati. But for right now, I'm going to lean towards the Bearcats. They just got a lot more coming back, and they know how to use those pieces. All right, then it's going to be a home game against Memphis, a rematch from last year's American Athletic Championship game. And Cincinnati's going to look to avenge 2 losses in this game, and I think they get it done. There's a lot of uncertainty surrounding the Memphis program, and by that I mean a lot of uncertainty surrounding how good the Memphis program is going to be. They still have a lot of good talent on both the offensive and defense sides of the ball, but they are losing their head coach, Mike Norvell. He went down to Florida State. So it's going to be interesting to watch and see how Memphis does. And if Memphis is going to be good like they have been in previous years, they're going to have everything figured out by now, in my opinion, and maybe could give Cincinnati a little bit of a scare. But overall, I just think Cincinnati is the more talented, and this year especially is going to be the better coach team with Luke Fickell having the headset on. I'm going to get the Bearcats the win here against the Tigers, but it'll be a close game. Then it's a home game against Houston. I don't see Cincinnati having a problem with this one. Houston is losing quarterback De'Aaron King. He transferred to Miami. Didn't play all that much last year anyway, but still a big part of that Houston offense, and he is gone. Houston's returning a couple pieces back on each side of the ball, but not enough to keep Houston alive in this game, in my opinion. I see Cincinnati winning this one quite easily. Then they have a home game against East Carolina. So East Carolina's quarterback, a lot of people are talking about him, probably could be one of the better ones in the American Athletic Conference this year. But overall, when you look at ECU as a collective unit, they're not all that great. I think they're going to be an average team, maybe 6-6, 7-5, but they just don't have the might nor the coaching staff to compete with what Cincinnati brings to the table. I like the Bearcats in this one. Then it's a game that Cincinnati has on their radar this year. It is a road game against the UCF Golden Knights. This one is going to be hard. UCF is returning a lot back, including both quarterbacks in Dylan Gabriel and Daryl Mack, and they possibly could be returning Mackenzie Milton as well. If Mackenzie Milton doesn't start the season, then maybe he could finish it here with Cincinnati. But all 3 of those guys are pretty good. I believe, in my opinion, Dylan Gabriel and Mackenzie Milton are above Daryl Mack. They're on their own level, but Daryl Mack still a very good quarterback. They have good weapons on the wide receiver position. Their defense is decent as well. This is going to be a really fun game to watch. Now, Cincinnati was one of the teams that beat UCF last year, and UCF was still a fairly decent team last year. This one is not going to be easy for the Bearcats. I'm going to go ahead and lean towards the Golden Knights. I just feel like they have more talent on the offensive side. Defenses are pretty evenly matched, but just more talent on the offensive side, and I think that's what will push UCF over the win and what I expect to be a shootout type game. All right, then they have a road game against Temple, and this one's not going to be easy. Everyone is super quick to overwrite Temple. I do it at least one time every week, year after year. I overwrite Temple 1 week, and then they either make it close or they even beat the clear favorite in the game. So Temple is the team that you really do need to watch out for. in this one. It could be a very tricky game. It's a road game for the Bearcats. But when I look on paper, I don't see this game being that close. I see Cincinnati being able to pretty easily beat Temple. Cincinnati's just got too much talent, so I like the Bearcats in the final game of the season. All right, so now with everything being said and considered, I have the Bearcats going 10-2. I have the Bearcats going 10-2. 2 losses to me are, one definitely is going to be the UCF, and then either they're going to trip up on one of the other road games, whether that be Nebraska, SMU, or Temple. I feel like they're just going to lose another game besides UCF there, but I do believe that they're going to be able to rematch against UCF in the American Athletic Championship game. So now let's move on to their record range, and you guys know this by now. I take this team's worst case scenario and their best case scenario, and that's where I expect this team to be this year with reasonable expectations. So the worst case scenario I have for the Cincinnati Bearcats is 7-5. They have a lot of really difficult road games, and if guys just don't play up to standards and don't play like they did last year, and James Wiggins just is not in his 2018 form this year in 2020, they could go 7-5, and to me, all of their losses would be on the road. It'd be to, well, most of their losses would be on the road. It'd be to Nebraska, SMU, Memphis, UCF, and Temple. Those would be the 5 losses for me in this scenario. Again, like I just said, it's especially if James Wiggins cannot be in his 2018 form. If he takes a step back from where he was, maybe the injury holds him back, or he gets cautious or something like that. Cincinnati definitely could fall from where they have been previously. And I think Luke Fickell is a really, really great coach, and he has surrounded himself with great staff and great players. But if those players just cannot play up to expectations this year, they have a harder schedule than what they have had in years past. So could see them going 7-5. All right, then their best case scenario for me, for the Cincinnati Bearcats, is 11-1. When you look here, again, a lot of the games for me are 50-50. They could go either way. That's Nebraska, that's Memphis, that's Temple. And I'm leaning towards Cincinnati in all 3 of those games that I just mentioned. SMU could be a tricky game, and UCF also is going to be a tricky game. But I just see Cincinnati losing a game somewhere. The road games are really difficult. Again, you have to go on the road against the Mid-American Conference champion, on the road against a Power 5 Big Ten school, on the road against some of the better teams in the American Athletic that are not named UCF and Cincinnati. Now, Cincinnati doesn't have to play Navy here, but that game on the road at UCF is going to be hard, and if there's going to be one loss in their best case scenario, I see them losing that game. But overall, Cincinnati really could have an incredible season. I did not put them at 12-0 just because I said their road games are really difficult for what talent Cincinnati squad has. But my current prediction for the 2020 Cincinnati Bearcats is 10-2. All right, so that's going to do it for my schedule preview and record prediction for the 2020 Cincinnati Bearcats. And if you guys enjoyed, please leave a like. Also, if you're new to the channel or just enjoy my content, please do consider subscribing. And if you haven't done so already, please do leave a comment down below. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on the 2020 Cincinnati Bearcats. And as always, until next time, play hard but tailgate harder. I'll see you all in the next video. Goodbye.